Hey everybody, Rob from Karma Comment Chameleon coming at you today with a few malicious compliance stories. First one, I can't get a refund on my escape room? Okay, let me reschedule then. Let's jump right in. This might be a rarity for this sub, as I am the one who had the malicious compliance done to by someone else, but I had to respect it and thought it was worthy for this subreddit. Context: I own an escape room company in a town which borders a pretty touristy area and is very close to an airport. As such, we tend to get a lot of bookings from people all over the UK who are visiting the area for the weekend, or international people coming to do an escape room on the way to the airport. We only take online bookings and don't take walk-ins. Therefore, the site is only really manned whenever we have bookings. As such, our cancellation policy is that we only allow refunds if the cancellation is more than 24 hours before the scheduled start time. If it is 2 to 24 hours before the start time, we can only reschedule the booking. Now, it's worth mentioning that for the majority of cases, weekdays, we are pretty relaxed with our policy as long as it doesn't cause any big issues, and try our best to accommodate a group, as usually I am the one hosting them, so there's not any additional expenses on our part. Example, staff wages, loss of income from other potential customers. However, the only day where this policy is really relevant is on Saturday, where we are almost always entirely booked from morning to night and have staff members working for us. So any cancelled slots would most likely have been filled by other customers, and we are, of course, still paying our staff for that time. Although I must say, we have only ever had to enforce this policy a couple of times, as we usually accommodate a group in some shape or form. Now on to the malicious compliance. So I get a call earlier today from a gentleman with a thick Scottish accent that was scheduled to come in with his group in about 2.5 hours from the time of the call. The group said that they would be unable to make their booking as they were running late with some other activities or something like that, and asked to reschedule the booking for a later slot. I checked our schedule, but didn't have any slots left for today in any of our rooms. He then asked for a refund as they would be returning back to Glasgow tonight and didn't know when they would be next down here. I told him our policy that our system only allows reschedules instead of refunds due to the time frame, and explained that given it's a Saturday, we can't refund so close to the time as staff has been arranged. Slot would have been booked, etc, etc. Rescheduling wouldn't have worked for them as they wouldn't be in the area anytime soon. After a short pause, he asked if we had any free slots to schedule for next month. I checked the system and offered to move the booking to the same time on the 16th of November, to which he said, yeah, I think that works. I changed the time on the system and informed him he would get an email confirming the new time slot. He replied, great. So the booking is more than 24 hours away now, right? Yes, it's booked for in 4 weeks time from today. Him, right. So the booking is more than 24 hours away. I won't be able to make it. Can I have a refund? I paused for a second, trying to process what had just happened in my head, and realized that he had found a loophole in the system. Technically, his booking was more than 24 hours away, so he is technically entitled to a refund. I started laughing and congratulated him on beating the system as I processed his refund. Good for you, OP, for just laughing this off. Sometimes you just have to give credit for beating the system within the rules. On to our next story. I got billed for the phone service I never asked for, got charged a late fee, ultimately gave in anyway, and ended up winning. This happened in 1999, which is important because consumer cell phone use was pretty new at the time. I was a college student and had just gotten my first cell phone, and as a result, didn't need a phone in my dorm room. The school had a small department that managed in-dorm phone service, and you were automatically given an account. But if you canceled during the first few weeks of school, you weren't billed for those weeks, or for future weeks, obviously. Okay, great. I didn't need a landline, so on my first or second day on campus, I canceled the service. I expected no bill. But there was a wrinkle. I had an on-campus job and arrived at school a few weeks before classes started. The billing software saw that I had a day of phone service and should have erased it, but it wasn't designed properly. It only erased service from the first few weeks of school, not the weeks before classes began. I was billed about $3 for a day or two of phone service I never signed up for. When I got the bill, I went to the phone department office to explain, and they said no problem, they'd look into it. And surprise, surprise, they were able to remove the $3 charge. A month later, I get a new bill in the mail showing a balance of $3 and a credit of $3 and a late fee of 9 cents for failing to pay the $3 on time. I went back to the phone department and they basically told me that they don't know how to fix it and that I should just pay the 9-cent fine, and that if I didn't, it would automatically get kicked over to a collections agency and screw up my credit rating. I said, that's ridiculous, and they agreed but couldn't fix it. And then someone there, jokingly, said something about a payment plan. The phone department, being part of the university, wanted to keep students out of hock, so they allowed you to pay your unpaid phone bills over time. This was intended for the stupid freshman who made hours-long distance calls to his high school girlfriend, not realizing it was like $4 a minute. But in theory, it applied to my situation too. You could agree to pay any outstanding debt over the remaining months of the school year, which in my case meant 1 cent per month for 9 months. I asked them to sign me up. For the next 9 months, they sent me a 1 cent bill, which, by rule, I had to go to the phone office to pay within 10 days. I did, and they'd give me a receipt, which I asked them to mail. In total, they sent me 20 letters, 9 bills, 9 receipts, plus the original bill and the one with the late fee in it. At the 30 cents or so in postage that they had to pick up, it cost them at least $6 to get my 9 cents. What a wonderful story, following the rules in a way that so clearly displays the stupidity of the rules that even the enforcers get in on it with you. Wow. On to our third story. You want me to break policy for you? Sure. I used to work retail a few years back, and there were always customers putting tickets where they didn't belong, or putting reduced stickers on other items that they weren't for. We were trained to identify when something was wrong and educate the customer on correctly reading tickets to prevent loss. I was serving a very thin, rude woman buying a lot of fruit and veg when I see her opening her pre-packaged mushrooms and putting them into a paper bag that are used for the loose ones. This was certainly not allowed by policy. Excuse me, I'm still going to have to scan that barcode. I can't put those in by weight because they're supposed to be pre-packaged. I see other people do this all the time. Just put it in. Isn't the customer always right? But ma'am, that's unfair to every person doing the right thing. I can't put it in by weight. Do it, or I'll call your manager and we'll see what they say. Knowing the manager would just side with her anyway, I relented and put the mushrooms through the scales. $4.28. That was a little high, I thought. While she was packing, I scanned the mushroom barcode and took it back off to see what the actual price was. $2.99. Okay, lady paid extra because she wanted me to bend the rules for her. I did. I didn't tell her about it. She paid and left all smug. Good for her. Sometimes the simplest malicious compliance is the best. Now in the comments, people were saying that OP should have let the manager handle the situation. Well, OP responded with this. It's cheaper to lose $4 in one transaction than lose $150 a week to a returning customer. We had even been trained to give refunds to customers, bringing back receipts from our direct competitor if it meant they have a good customer experience and they'd come back. I've been in situations like this before, where we have to treat the customers that way and even honor our competitors' coupons and returns. In a grocery store, this policy makes sense because these people will be spending a lot of money in these stores over the course of a year. All they could really do was make sure that the customer was aware of the policy and move on. I want to thank all 3 OPs for posting their stories to the Malicious Compliance subreddit. You can visit them at the links in the description below. Please go there and give them an upvote. Once again, this is Rob from Karma Comment Chameleon saying thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and share it with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one.